Hello, fellow walkers. So here we are again for another Zendikar Rising Draft stream. Yeah, I've been away for a while. I've been setting up a few new things for 2021 and getting back, staying a bit more time with the family and so on, because this year was a bit crazy, right? So yeah, but I'm back and I'm preparing a few things. Today we'll also review a level up article. As I said previously, I'm planning on doing this like once a week or once every 2 weeks or something, so that we can digest it across the week, digest the article, read it, try to employ deliberate practice on it. So if you don't know me, I'm Diogo, or Diogo Japinto. You can find me by that nickname elsewhere, and I'm on this journey to improve in Magic and improve as a person, of course, because I believe that you can learn a lot from Magic and apply that knowledge to your life, and vice versa, of course. So yeah, if you like what you see, don't forget to follow me and get in touch if you want. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the links on my About section, okay? So, not sure if we'll reach 7 wins today. Let's try to find out. As usual, we'll do just a quick historical best of 3 game, just while people come in, and after that we'll review the article for today, for this week or the next 2 weeks or something, and then we'll get to the draft, okay? So that's our plan. Let's get into the game then. If you don't know, I'm playing the same deck as in the previous streams. This is a very interesting take, and I've had a lot of, quite some success. I don't play that much, to be honest, but I don't play as much as many people play, I guess. But even though I'm having like a 75% win rate, and I got from no play previous month bronze 2 to I'm in platinum 3 or 2 or something, and I'm still climbing up to platinum. Yes, platinum, I believe. So yeah, it's the idea of this deck. Let me try. This is not working properly. Doesn't matter. GG, thank you. Hey Midgeworth, how are you, man? How are things? How is your setup going? So Midgeworth, if you don't know him, is a very, very cool streamer too. Feel free to follow him on Twitch. I really enjoy his Final Fantasy streams. It's such a nostalgic sentiment. It's really awesome. So yeah, what we're seeing here is the deck that I and my face is on top of it. So let me change a bit the view, and this is more like it. So yeah. Oh, what the hell? I guess I'm so yeah, the idea, so this is a rogues deck, but it's more of a tempo deck than an aggro or a controlling version of it. The idea is to get in with our, at least in game 1, it's get in with our rogues and as early as possible, and try to gain a lot of card advantage via Curious Obsession, so draw cards, and Ona's Blackguard, to have the opponent discarding a bunch of cards. It's really awesome. At some point you draw like 2 or 3 cards and your opponent discards 4 cards because you have 2 Ona's Blackguard on the battlefield or something. It's just crazy. Then for game 1 you have Fatal Push and Thoughtseize, and that's about it. So yeah, this is it. Let's do one quick game with this deck and just review the article for the week. While the opponent doesn't show up, let me just try to fix this hotkeys issue that I'm having. Toggle positioning mode, okay. or Alt Control P, it can be. Okay. Cool. One thing I want to do next year is probably to get a second screen to make it easier to manage the stream stuff. Still, either way, I'm really happy with the setup right now. So. Let's change the view into something more amenable for what we'll do. Okay, I'll play first for sure. Okay, let me just check. Everything is fine. Game is loading up. I guess the initial game, it's a bit more clunky. So what regrave? Let me try just to change something here. Performance mode. Let's see if it improves. Okay, so I'm happy with this hand. What I'm typically looking for is to have 2 lands on my opening hand and having the two colors. That kind of unlocks my hand, and I'm typically able to gain card advantage via Curious Obsession and the like to draw further lands through our deck. Okay, so let's just see, add mana. So for this turn, I have 2 options. I can either start building up card advantage, putting my Curious Obsession on my Merfolk Windrobber, or playing Soaring Thought Thief on their turn. Given that they are playing these colors, I can no issue. Let's start accruing card advantage and shipping away their life total. Because if I draw a Fatal Push or something like that, I can prevent them from building up mana. Given that, no need on losing life, just to I guess bluff, something like that. But yeah, Neoform, okay, creature card, 1/3 Incubation Druid, and there's a Fatal Push. Cool. Now they're tapped out. They can still. They're not tapped out. They can have 2 mana. 4 mana actually. So I need to kill this creature really bad. So let us draw a card before anything else. See, if we draw a land, we can try Drawn in the Lock and Fatal Push to kill the creature. So even if they have something to protect their creature, we can kill it afterwards. So first, let's try to kill it. Okay, it worked. That's really cool because this guy would produce 3 mana of any color. Jesus, of any of their colors, I mean. So given that, I'll still play this and pay 2 life so that I can I can play a Soaring Thought Thief at the end of their turn. I'll probably hold the Night Hawk Scavenger until later. They are trying to ramp. So I very much prefer to leave them out of ramping because this deck is not controlling. If I was trying to control the game and get into the late game, preventing them from ramping would not be that important, to be honest. So given that, we can leave 2 spells open. I'm already at 14 life just because of me. But we have our hand packed with instant removal and counters. Still, what I was saying is, if this was a controlling version, I would not counter their ramp stuff, and I would focus on countering their payoffs for ramping, right? Their big stuff. Given that that's not the case, so they seem to be locked out because they were trusting the ramp would work. Now they're at 7, so these guys will attack even for more, which is great. And now, well, I have this game under control. There's no need to commit more to the board with Night Hawk Scavenger or the like. So let's just attack. As simple as that. Attack, draw cards. Yes, draw card. So I have 4 cards there. I can hold 2 counter spells for them. So this game is pretty locked off. Yeah. Now they scoop. Yep. Predictable. Okay, so they're trying to ramp. I guess either Gus can be good in this matchup. Let's see how many. Brazen Board were not that great. I guess most of our deck is already pretty cool. Artless Act might be interesting. Fatal Push, I can still play a few of those. Thoughtseize can disrupt their late stuff. 5. So I can lower my count a bit on the creature side and lower a bit on my counter spells that are not that good, I guess. They don't have many ways of removing my stuff from the board. So I'll place something like this. Drop off the low impact creatures. Drop off a bit of the not so impactful spells. I could also have lowered my count of fatal pushes. Okay, I have 2 lands. That's all I can ask for. Let's keep it. They probably have some removal now, so I might need to be a bit more careful. Either way, I'll try to accrue some advantage early on with my Wind Robber and Curious Obsession. That might enable me to, of course, leave Soaring Thoughtif unchecked. Come on, opponent. You don't have the removal. So. Yeah, let's Curious Obsession. See if we draw a better land than Agadim's Awakening, I'll play it. Because this Agadim Awakening can be quite good, mainly on game 2 and 3. Because our opponent can play a bunch of spells that prevent me from a bunch of burn spells or the like. So, hey Julio, thank you for the follow. I just noticed it now. Thank you very much. Thanks. Probably I'm missing a bit the events just because of them. I wished I had Lofty Denial for that. Okay, since this is the situation we're in, no need on playing Agadim's Awakening, I believe. Let's see. Let us see. There's actually value on playing Agadim's Awakening. Because I won't draw that many cards as that soon. Okay, so we're holding Soaring Thoughtif for their turn. That's the idea. Try to see what they do, if it needs to be Lofty Denialed or not. Solemn Simulacrum. I don't like that card. That card provides you too much value. Ether Gust. So Bone Crusher Giant is not that great of a target for this. So Nighthawk Scavenger can be quite good. But that leaves me open for whatever they want to do. So let's play a bit more the controlling side of it until I get out of options. I can still double spell on their turn depending on what they do. I might Fatal Push something. Or Artless Act, actually. Okay, I don't want to Ether Gust that. I might still kill it on my turn. You'll need to sacrifice another card. Sorry, opponent. Top or bottom, you choose. If you put it on top, you might not have creatures. So bottom it is. Right. Yep. Cool. I'm happy for that, opponent. So we have 3 mana now. We can still... they won't likely have a Fatal Push target on their turn, so I can actually Merfolk Windrobber and Soaring Thoughtthief or Artless Act on their turn, depending on what they play. We can just be patient. Just be patient. Cultivate. Nothing I can do, unfortunately. I'm out of counters now. Okay. Now they play another land. I need counters. I need a lot of counters. So they have 4 cards on the graveyard. I think I need to start pressuring them. If I play a Soaring Thoughtthief, I have a Fatal Push open, which is not that great of use of our mana. Fatal Push is more effective on our turn. They are at 4 cards, so if I play another Soaring Thoughtthief, my rogues are pumped twice. So yeah, I'll play Soaring Thoughtthief main turn and attack with both. Now they have 8 cards in their graveyard. That may also be useful if I happen to draw a Drown in the Loch. And this way I'm really pressuring them. I don't even need to worry about casting Nighthawk Scavenger. Okay, so they agree. They agree. Cool, cool, cool. I played 4 games best of 3 with this deck. I lost one because I had to leave home during game 2. I won game 1, I believe. So I had just to quit, but it's doing stuff. It's really fun. I love these aggro control decks. I really do. So let's get to our desktop mode. Okay. No. Let me just get this out of the way. Nope. Okay, I'm using this Digo plugin so that I can annotate the articles and so on. So, even though I'm still working on building several commands that will enable you to very quickly get the links for these materials that I'll be building in the future. For now, there's this spreadsheet that I'm sharing. I've shared in a recent tweet, I believe, and I'll also post it on the chat right now. And what is it? So it is essentially a list of articles that I spent a bit of time. There's like 200 articles here. Most of them are definitely interesting. There are some that are very specific, but either way, the focus is they are level up articles. They seek ways to improve either your Magic game or improve your life via Magic or wherever. And I'll be posting here the links for the YouTube recordings, when it was reviewed, the year, the links for all of them. So you can already start using it as is, of course, and start reading your articles. these are the only ones that are sorted are the ones that are reviewed on stream. The others are still pending. What I'm typically doing is I'm attaching new articles that I read during the week to the top, and I'll be reviewing them on the Sunday's stream. And yeah, then we focus on applying those concepts over the game, and I advise you to also apply those concepts during the week. For today, we have an article from Mason Clark, published very recently on Card Kingdom blog, and essentially it's a collection of heuristics. And if you don't know it yet, I love heuristics, not only for Magic, but also for life, and you'll see me coming back to this to the similarity or the applicability of heuristics on one realm in the other, and vice versa. And here it's like a collection that Mason Clark is proposing for ways to improve our game in 2021. Like, you start new year with a set of expectations, with a set of things that you want to achieve over that year, and these are just a collection of them that you might want to follow. Okay, let's get started then. There are 5 of them today, and the first one is don't be afraid to play the best deck. This is very good advice. I've heard this a ton of times across multiple podcasts and so on during this year, because it seems like historically it was really looked down upon, the people that simply play the best deck, that net deck their decks and so on. That doesn't really make sense, even more nowadays. So Magic is a game that it's really funny, and I love this kind of stuff because I like maths and all of that. But let's not focus on those potentially boring stuff. And math is for blockers, as Midgeworth typically says. So the thing is, it works like a complex system. There's a ton of people trying out different strategies, and the most successful ones will come out on top. It's like the evolution principles from Darwin, right? You have several mutations, several variations, trying to being evaluated by the world according to their fitness, to their environment, right? And the ones that are more fit, they tend to survive. So it's definitely fun and definitely interesting to keep on experimenting and brewing your stuff. For example, me, for rotating formats like Standard, I typically like to play the budget builds from, or variations of budget builds from Saffron Olive on MTG Goldfish. I think they're really cool, and it's a nice way to get into those formats, even if I don't want to commit that much from the get-go. So so I was exploring a bit this realm of net decking and playing the best deck, but focusing specifically on playing the best deck, there are, according to the author, there are two main reasons pointed out for people not playing the best deck. One of them is, I don't want to play mirrors all day. Sure, the thing is, as he says, that's like a joke, right? if you hope to win as much as possible, and that concept is explored down in the following heuristics, but if you're hoping to win as best as possible, you cannot really try to handicap yourself by just picking a different deck, right? You want to win as often as possible so that you improve your performance in Magic and so on. And the thing is, you will lose a lot, and again, that's also touched upon later. But you will lose a lot. Magic is a game of high variance, so even the best players can hope to win across their circles, like 60%, 65%. Maybe that's already too crazy. So you need to accrue as much advantage as possible. So if you're not playing the best deck, you should have very good reasons not to. Then the author explores things like if your play level isn't already in the upper percentile. So let me just maximize this a bit so that you don't have problems reading it. So yeah, if your level of play is already not at its best, you're only doing yourself a disservice by not playing the best deck. Of course, there might be other concerns like you don't have enough wild cards or something like that, but that's problems that can be addressed, and you will typically start on building more and more your collection as the more time you invest in Magic and so on. Okay, so you will get out of that stage. You simply need to recognize you're at that stage. For example, me, I like to play a lot of limited. I don't focus that much on constructed, but I want to have some decks that can be slightly competitive without hindering too much my balance. So I invested on a rogues deck for standard that is currently one of the tier 1 decks, and then I built a very similar deck for historic, because there's a bunch of events happening on historic, and I plan to use that. So I have 2 decks for 2 different formats with a relatively low investment. Okay. And you start accruing a lot of wild cards, and your vault gets filled up as you play a lot of limited. That's why I typically advise people to play limited. It's really fun. As you start getting good, you start not spending that much money on playing it, because you start recycling your gems essentially, or even gaining more. So it's a really cool way to take advantage of that. Additionally, if your argument is you don't want to play mirrors all day, getting back to the article, typically the best deck is corresponds to around 48% at most. There was a time when Oko was being played. It was 60% of the field. But 48%, it's like the ceiling that you can expect, unless something really crazy happens like Oko. So this is not an argument, even this, considering that is quite naive argument. It's right. It's also statistically unfounded. Okay, you're not that likely to be playing that many mirrors during the day, because people don't follow this advice. That's the thing. And you should take advantage of that while the community gets up to speed, right? And the second argument that is commonly used is, oh, there will be so much hate for this deck. The thing is, if this deck is the best deck on the battlefield, on the metagame, this deck is likely prepared to deflect the hate that it faces. Okay, you might have a bad game 1, but you can, for example, tweak your rogues deck to be more controlling and have more graveyard hate, so that you prevent yourself from being hindered by escape creatures, for example. So there are ways to circumvent their weaknesses. You should not decide not to use not to play a given deck just because the game 1 can be very bad against that deck or something like that, because that deck might be played by 5% of the metagame. So that doesn't make that much sense typically. Okay, all of the heuristics, as if you don't know, all of the heuristics should be taken with a grain of salt, as always, right? So yeah, playing the best deck is highly underrated because of all the reasons that I've talked about previously. People don't want to play the best cards. People want to express themselves through the game, and that's all perfectly fine. But if you're trying to maximize your chances of winning through the long haul, you shouldn't do that. Okay, you can still try those stuffs in arena and so on, but going to tournaments with that mindset, you might be doing yourself a disservice. Okay, heuristic number 2. you and your opponent are telling a story to each other. So yeah, this is really interesting, and it's a level up that I'm not using it at full capacity for sure, and it's very rare the players that are doing it at full capacity or close to that, right? If you don't heard about it, Luis Scott Vargas typically talks about it from time to time. There's like several levels of game of players. There's like level 0, and I'm not sure what levels he actually uses. I don't remember that, but there's like level 0, which are players that learn what their cards do and start being able to play the cards. Okay. Level 1, they are able to build like a strategy for their deck, for what they are trying to achieve. Level 2 is like they are already thinking about what their opponent is likely to do, so they are reading what story their opponent is trying to do. And there's like level 3, which is, okay, I know my opponent is level 2, so is trying to understand what story I'm telling, so I'll try to distort my story. I'll try to trick my opponent into doing different some stuff because I'm trying to tell a story. So you might do this from time to time, but it's really hard to do it consistently. But being able to work across these levels, it's really valuable. And of course, they depend on what level is your opponent in. So, for example, if my opponent is at level 0, I'm more likely to play as if I was using a level 1 mindset. Exactly, level 1/level 2 mindset, because I want to build my plan, but I'm not really trusting that my opponent knows what they're doing. They're just playing some cards. So I'll focus on my plan, I'll do my stuff, and I won't be paying that much attention to the opponent. So either way, those two concepts tie really well, or this concept ties with this heuristic very well. You should try to understand what kind of story are you telling your opponents during the game, by the plays that you make, by the plays that you don't make. For example, you leave mana open and you're playing a rogue's deck. Okay, what are you trying to do? For example, I can, if I leave mana open with my rogue's deck and I don't even have a counter spell or something like that, if my opponent knows what they're doing, they might refrain themselves from playing a very impactful card that taps their mana out or something like that, because it's highly likely that I'm playing at instant speed on their turn. So without having the cards, I'm sort of bluffing having counter spells while I don't, and provided that my opponent is trying to read the story that I'm telling. Okay. Hey Partiziki, how are you? I'm good. The festivities has been, even though restrained, quite good. I was really missing being for 2 hours or more with my parents and so on. So welcome, and how are you, man? How was your Christmas? So yeah, moving on. Then there's a specific example. You can go through it, but essentially is trying to explore if your opponent doesn't block with their Bone Crusher Giant, your own Bone Crusher Giant, what might they be telling? Oh, I'm glad. That's really great to know. Oh Jesus, I just want to see the events a bit more clearly while we talk about this stuff. Okay, get over there. Okay, so yeah, and what is my opponent saying? Okay, they might be holding Great Edge or something like that. So you should try to assess. You should try to read the story that your opponent is telling, and build a range of cards that their hand could actually be, right? Because the deck strategy tells you a lot. So if there's open deck list or something like that. Hey, Yersay, how are you, man? So yeah, you're trying to build up a story, and you should try to pay attention to that. The level 3 stuff that I was talking about previously, like which the author is calling the mind trick, it often looks cool, but you need to be really good at understanding if you're doing yourself a disservice by trying to be fancy, trying to be smart, because that might be lowering your win percentage without you even knowing it. Okay. I feel like I'm spending a lot of time on each, but I really want to ensure that these things are really digested properly. Thank you for the follow, Yersay. Thank you very much. I need to fix my audio alerts because I'm not hearing them. I have a crazy setup here, but that's something for later. So yeah, use all your mana on your turn. So yeah, this is very simple. It even shows you on the loading page of Arena, right? You should try. Essentially, this is an opportunity cost thing that you should analyze on each turn. For example, if you don't play your 3-drop on turn 3, but you want because you want your 2-drop in that turn, you need to understand that maybe on next turn you would be able to double spell with 2 drops, right? This doesn't look that level up, or for many of you at least, but it's something that can be really transformational once you get the intuition behind it. It's really the first time that you think about this concept and you play your 3-drop instead of your 2-drop, and on the next turn you double spell. It's just crazy. Even if you don't have your second 2-drop, you might draw it depending on how your deck's curve is built. So it's just crazy. Of course, this is a guiding light. It depends on what your deck is trying to do, what the rest of your hand looks like, and so on. Now, defeats don't define you. This is very, very important. I still see a ton of people who get down because they lost like 4 games in a row or something like that. The thing is, Magic is a game of variance. If you win 4 games, you should tap yourself in the back. Okay, job well done, but expect a few losses down the pipeline, because it's just natural. For example, when you can do this experiment for yourself. If you toss a coin like 10 times, so you toss a coin 10 times, you take note of it, and you do that process, you repeat that process 10 times. You won't never find an instance where you go adds tails. That doesn't happen. It's much more likely for patterns, supposed patterns to emerge, or at least sequences of wins and sequences of losses to emerge, than just be like always switching between heads and tails. So you should expect losses. You should prepare your mind to it, and actually look at losses as a way to learn. For example, these streams that I do. I started them because I wanted to improve my level of Magic, and this way I'm recording the streams, and besides putting them on YouTube and so on, I actually review my stream at 2x speed, not only looking for highlights because I find some of the moments quite funny, but because I want to see, okay, at this moment, what could I do differently? This game I lost, so could I change things up? Could I build my deck slightly differently? So you look at losses as an opportunity to learn. If you just win, that doesn't really help you on learning, because you're more likely than not playing against people who are in a few levels below your skill level, right? So yeah, it's really important to try to understand this, to ingrain this, to make this intuitive, and try to look at losses as opportunities for improvement, like what Alfred says on Batman, right? When you fall down, it's just another opportunity for you to get up. And lastly, the last one is be the eternal sophomore. This is a concept that I like to apply on my daily life, because if you are humble, you're more prone and more aware to learning opportunities. Okay, even if you are better than someone at playing Magic, you still have a lot to learn from that person. For example, we were talking about the levels of play skill. You can still learn on playing better your strategy. For example, you can try to adjust your gameplay because of that. And not only that, everyone has a different experience. Everyone is a snowflake. I know that's cheesy, but everyone is different, and you get to learn from everyone. But for that, you need to be humble. You cannot be really cocky about yourself. It's good to be confident, but you can be confident and humble. That's actually something that politicians nowadays really lack. And the key thing is be humble and be exposed to learning opportunities. So attend events, go to your local game store, and so on. And yeah, that's about it. You will find plenty of opportunities to questioning, listening, and learning. For example, the instances that I learned more from playing paper Magic were when I lost, and I restarted playing earlier this year. And I lost a few games and because I lost them very quickly, my opponents had the opportunity to teach me how should you play against that deck, what sideboard deck should you use, stuff like that. Okay, so that's really interesting. And to finalize, Mason Clark focus on that point that Magic is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You are accruing value each step of the way. And even if you have a bad day, the next day might be better, and you'll get to increase slightly your average win rate across time, and that's how you improve, right? That's really funny. I was trying with these sound alerts earlier this week. There's some, because I'm Portuguese, there's some really funny in Portuguese, but they don't really might not make as much sense as to foreigners. But either way, there's plenty of in there. So this was the article again. I have these links shared on the chat. I can share it again, just if someone joined right now. So yeah, either way, I hope you liked it. If you want, just read it on your time and try to explore it even further. You can read the others, and if you want to reach out to discuss any of these topics, feel free. I'll make sure to be in touch. Okay, so we're back to the game, and as promised, we'll do a Premier Draft, Zendikar Rising. Sure, let's spend the token entry. I hope you took advantage of this token entry, or this cheaper token entry during the 24th. So yeah. How is everyone going? Are you guys enjoying the weekend? Everyone unwrapping their presents. Actually, it was pretty funny. I received like the Mario Kart thing for the Nintendo Switch, and I have a cat named Elsa. So she was running around the cart like crazy. It's really funny. Cats are awesome. I just want to say that cats are awesome. Okay. So Clearwater pathway. Let's put this bigger for you to see. Is it is looking fine? It is looking fine. So performance mode. Okay, out of this pack, what do we want? So I'm not interested on picking on picking this double-faced land this early. Rolling Regrowth can be interested in green, but not a reason to be playing green. Green is one of the weaker colors in this format. So I have here essentially two options, I would say. Core Celebrant is the card that or three options. Core Celebrant can play well in several different decks, in either a party or in cleric specifically. Relic Vial only plays well in party. I could try to pick it up as like edging on party on clerics being open. But that's not really my focus. I prefer to stay open, even though this draft format is slightly different because of the tribal aspect of it. It still functions a bit differently. Okay, so out of this pack, no real reason to invest more in. So no cleric here. Archpriest of Iona, so this gets power equal to the number of creatures. If you have a full party, it gets benefits. So this can do some work. Still, this is more likely to do work than Archpriest of Iona, I would say. If you have a full party, let's see. I don't have much experience with the Archpriest of Iona. White-blue party is underdrafted, and this week I actually listened to a relatively new podcast named Drafting Archetypes from I forgot the name, Samuel Black, which it goes really in depth into a single archetype. It's really cool. I really advise you to look into it. But yeah, it was focused on that archetype specifically, but again, you can do other different stuff. Okay, so Vanquish the Weak, Malakir Blood Priest. We have some options here. Angel Art Protector is not that awesome. Casual's Fury, it's definitely powerful, but I haven't seen that much red until now. And again, I prefer to carve my lane early and try to carve my path early, so that if I don't pass that many signals, we come back to that question of telling a story to our opponents. Even during the draft, that is applicable, of course. So telling this story is really important, and if I'm sending the right signals, I get paid off later. Okay, it's not as important as elsewhere, but still, it's really important. Thank you, Midgeworth. You're having fun with sound alerts. I'm glad I've set them up. Okay, Rock Slide Sorcerer is really cool, really cool in Wizards specifically. Elsewhere, it can do some work, but it's not the best thing ever. I might pick it up out of this pack. Nair is Binding, I'm not interested in it. There's some blue cards that I might pick up, but let's keep ourselves open for a bit longer. Okay, late Malakir Blood Priests, I would say. Late, well, it all depends. Two uncommons and one common were away. Expedition Champion, we're not playing Warriors right now. So I would say Malakir Blood Priest, it's one of those cards that work well in several different decks. It works well in Clerics, it works well in party matters, so black red. It also works well in rogues, to be honest, because it counts itself, so it will typically drain for at least 2. Okay, a very late Lul Mage's Domination. Very late. We're switching up our mind from time to time, so we're dwindling a bit on this draft, but it's for a good cause. This is pack 1. We're trying to find what's open. That's really useful. I'll still pick Lul Mage's Domination over Umara Mystic. I'm not sure if there are signals, so no. And as usual, after the draft, we'll review our picks, provided the knowledge that we had, so post facto knowledge, right? And we will retrospectively try to look and understand if our picks were correct. For example, so it seems that Warriors are more or less open. Warrior. So, but all on the same pack. Warrior too. Either way, out of this pack, I'm not really excited to play almost any of these. Kabir Outrider can do some work if our deck is falling on the aggro side. I'm really not sure. A lot of Warriors are floating around, so let's hedge on the possibility of playing white-red Warriors. Farsight Adept is not the best thing ever. This is a card that can do some work in Kicker, but not that much elsewhere. Drana Silencer, it can do some work in Rogues, or in Rogues not that much. In Clerics, it plays the best in Clerics actually, because it's really expensive. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I could. So it's expensive. It has a type different from Clerics. So if you play it with Clerics, you typically get paid off. Ardent Electromancer, I'm happy on picking that up. Cascade Seer is not that great. It can do some work with white. So we're dwindling around a few colors in this pack, but we're not seeing that much white after the 2 initial picks, right? We're seeing some red, we're seeing some blue, and we're seeing some black, but red seems to be open and blue seems to be open too. So right now I'm more focused, or I'm prioritizing highly the Wizard's archetype, okay? This can do some stuff if I'm blocking or something. The other one wouldn't do that much. Kazul's Fury Wield, that's a bit crazy. Other than that, Relic Axe can do some work with Warriors, but I'm still not sure if I'm playing Warriors. Again, we're not seeing that much white. Probably we'll see pack 2, but we should keep in mind that during pack 1 we weren't seeing that much, at least not good. And I'm playing best of 1, so I'm not interested in disenchant or stuff like that. Sneaking Guide, we're still not sure exactly where we'll fall. Sizzling Barrage, I don't want to play it, or I won't likely play it, but I might. Okay, so Kaza, Royal Chaser. This card is not that great. It can lower the casting cost for some sorceries or instances or instant spells, but still, it's just it doesn't grow that much. It's easily killed by other stuff, so it's a rare, but it's a weird rare. Soaring Thought Thief, so we'll we're seeing more red than anything else, so we're focusing on red above everything. Royal Eruption is a card that will play on this deck. There's no question about it. So I'm happy on picking that one up. Other than that, this pack is not that great. Of course, there's good cards here. The MDFC and the other one. Damn. Another Kargan War Leader. I might push white during this pack, and double Kargan War Leader can be quite good. Human Wizard. This still plays well in Warriors. Bear in mind. We don't have that many Warriors yet, but we saw a ton, and red was open. There's a lot of Warriors, so Warriors are more prevalent in red than anywhere else. If we didn't pick the Kargan War Leader, for red we had Ardent Electromancer. We could pick that, but it does more work outside the Wizard's deck than in the Wizard's deck. In the Wizard's deck, it will typically just give 1 mana up. Of course, Shepherd of Heroes is really interesting. I would also pick one of those up very gladly. Out of this pack, Royal Eruption looks good. Ravager's Mace can do some work, but our black is not looking that great. We have 2 Malakir Blood Priests, which are one of the premium common for this archetype, but Royal Eruption is just so versatile. There's no way around it, and we don't have that many that much removal yet. Molten Blast or Kazul's Furies. I like to use this to hit my opponent's face. So it doesn't really serve to kill creatures. It's like to close off. And we have a Goma's Feathers Vanguard. Kabira Takedown is also very cool. Kabira's Takedown is really nice removal because it's attached to a land, but still Goma Feather Vanguard is one of those premium warriors that you want to play on your deck. As many as you can have. So one of the issues with our deck right now, as you can see, is two mana drops or 2 drops. We don't have many of those, so let's just remove these from our view. We'll most likely play like mono red warriors or something like that. Seagate Banneret is something that we could pick for sure. If the game drags for a bit, it can do some work. Molten Blast is inefficient removal for a warrior's deck. We want to lower our curve as much as possible, so I don't want to pick many of these up, just the ones that I need. This is not one of the not one of the best warriors out there because it's just too expensive. Even kicking it's like you're paying 6 mana for a 4/3. I know it has ace, but if you're kicking it, you probably are already winning at that point in time. Okay, so it doesn't do that much. So we could pick an Inordinate Rage later. For now, I'm happy on picking an Expedition Champion. Even on counterclockwise. On pack 2, we're not seeing that much white. Songmat Treachery, I might play one just because it's a land, but it's not that great. Still can do some work provided our deck is aggressive. Now, Cliffhaven Sellsword, I'm happy on picking one of these for sure. Again, 2 drops. We want 2 drops, as many as possible, And yeah, if we attach like an equipment to the Cliffhaven Sellsword, the one that gives flying or something like that, it can do some work. And it can prevent if we don't find our creatures, it can prevent our opponent from attacking, since it typically trades up. Okay. So here we have 2 options. I'm more inclined to play Songmat Treachery. then we could also consider Angel Art Protector or Resolute Strike. The Protector is not the best thing ever. It can still, on curve, enable us to attack with our creatures quite easily. Of course, Kaza Royal Chaser is floating around a bit. Yeah, this would help us splash other colors, but we're not interested on that, I believe. It could help us splash black, but these cards, we're looking to have a low curve, not really looking to get into the late game, so splashes are more of a late game thing. So yeah, we don't need to prioritize those as much. Cinderclasm, this has a big issue, which is it hurts my own creatures very badly. I'll have a few 1 toughness creatures. Still, Ardent Electromancer can be crazy, even in multiples, because you start sequencing them on top of each other. Out of this pack, I'm happy on picking a Makindi Stampede. Rolling Vortex could do some work on my deck, because it does 1 damage per turn to each player. And provided I'm the aggressor, which I'm looking to being, but we'll discuss that in a bit. Provided that I'm the aggressor, it can do some work, because my opponent's life total is typically lower than mine, right? Tormenting Voice, I don't want to play that. So given that I have some time, look, my cat once again taking advantage of the heat coming out of my laptop. She likes my streams, I guess. At least the heat that comes out of my laptop when I stream. Okay, this pack is not great for us. Thwart the Grave is crazy, but it's not really splashable. Practice Tactics can do some work. It's nice removal, and I'm kind of happy on removing our opponent's creatures from the battlefield. So we have 2 Royal Eruptions. So one thing that we need to focus right now is on having 2 drops or lower costed drops. Seagate Banneret, saying that Seagate Banneret doesn't do that much for our deck. Thundering Rebuke can be crazy, can be quite good, right? So I guess it's not yet that I'll be picking 2 drops. We have some lands here. We have some 1-mana spells. This will be a 2/2 more often than not. It will attack for 2 typically. Sneaking Guide can be useful. I still wanted to have a few of those Grotech Bug Catchers. It will definitely be useful. Spitfire Lagak it doesn't really work well with our colors. Now we have to choose. So we have Dauntless Unity, which can do some work. We have Core Celebrant, but we also have Shepherd of Heroes. Shepherd of Heroes can be a really good finisher in this deck, or at least take out removal from my opponent's hand. This Rocklight Sorcerer won't be played, more likely, and it can be a curve topper for our deck. I enjoy playing Shepherd of Heroes. Typically it doesn't attack because it's hit with removal as soon as it hits the battlefield. Okay, so as I was saying previously, we need to focus on 2 mana spells. We already have some top-end spells like Kabira's Outrider, Shepherd of Heroes. Even we have a lot of 3 mana spells. So Thundering Spark Mage, it would be cool, but it would be taking the place of one of our other creatures. Right now we need a lot of 2 drops. And the thing is, again, this is also about opportunity cost. Yes, I would pick a better creature, but the differential between that better creature and the creature that I would remove from my deck to play that is less than the differential of having an additional 2 drop or not, okay? This is a very important concept. because it's not for you're not picking that wizard for free in this deck, right? Okay, we could pick some removal provided that there are no two drops in this pack. Spikefield Hazard can do some work. We already have how many MDFCs? Let me take a look. But I'll probably pick the Expedition Champion. 1, 2. So we have 2, I guess. 3 with Gazul's Fury. So we have 3. That's a good count for MDFCs in order not to disrupt that much our hand. Spikefield Hazard can do some work for sure, but I very much prefer to have some consistency. And bear in mind that even though I don't have that many 2 drops and I need to prioritize them highly either way, I have a lot of cheap removal to use on my opponents, so I still have things to do. Okay. No, that Dauntless Unity, it's a possibility. I don't have equipment synergies right now, so there's a 2-drop, all the 2 drops. So this is a bit the issue of having white more or less taken, right? I'm not finding that many cards. So yeah, Cliffhaven Sellsword, sure. Now, Sizzling Barrage or Teeter Peak Ambusher. I don't believe there's much of a choice here. Teeter Peak Ambusher is not one of... It's not a great attacker, but it can do some work if in the late games. So even if I draw it late, it can still do stuff. So I won't likely play any of these colors, to be honest. And since I already have all of these rares, because guess what? It's bad in limited. I'll pick a Fireside Adept just because. Dauntless Unity, I'll probably not play it, but even more 2 of them. Molten Blast. And Resolute Strike. Okay, 20 gems, all the gems. Let's adjust this for a bit. And now, so first, lands. How many do we want to play? In a deck like this, since the curve is not as low as it could be, I'm more likely than not to play 18 lands. So let's take our MDFCs to the side and see what can we do with them. So 3 MDFCs, that's all. So given 3 MDFCs, and this is 17 lands, I need to drop 2 lands. So 8, 7, 15, 16, 17, 18. That gives us 18. Let's check our distribution. So slightly more red than white. Let's see our our curve, or our early spells are really split between the 2. So I guess it looks fine. Okay, so things that I'm likely to not to play. Core Celebrant can do some work, but it's not really playable in this deck. Let me just look creature count, non-creature count, so we can take out cards from both sides. This is expensive removal, so I'll probably not play it. Dauntless Unity. Not sure if I'll play that. Depends on. I think our deck is looking good. Sizzling Barrage can do some work. Maybe I'll remove one of them. Teeter Peak Ambusher, Practice Tactics, Resolute Strikes, Seagate Banneret, Sneaking Guide, Practice Tactics. This is still very cheap. It can do 2 damage easily, 4 damage also easily. Let's check our party count. Cleric 3. Of course, I'll remove at least 1. Rogues 1. Wizards 2. And we'll keep these 2 most likely. Leroy Jenkins. Okay. So, things that I want to remove from here for sure. Molten Blast. Let's actually remove all of this. I prefer to take everything out of my plate and just add in the top priority ones. Ensuring that the remaining deck still keeps its core. Yeah, it's still relevant. That's something that happens a lot in these draft formats, and I guess in the recent ones, it's like you end up with many playables. Okay. I mean, I'm liking this deck as is. So we have 2 additional cards to jump in. This Sneaking Guide, it might look not that good, but it can help us get through the finish line. For example, before I pump my Teeter Peak Ambusher in the late game. So creature 16, spells 7. Out of these cards, I want cheap stuff. Since I have removal, this Sizzling Barrage can do some work. I don't have equipment synergies, so I don't really want to play that. Should I play another Sizzling Barrage? Our removal is a Royal Eruption. This is kind of a removal, this is kind of a removal, depending on how we play them. But since there are no sacrifice strategies, this Sungmat Treachery, it's not as good in this format as elsewhere. So creature 16 creatures, it's a nice count. It's a nice count. I don't have any additional to drop creatures that I want to have besides Malakir Blood Priest, but it's off color, so another Sizzling Barrage, and that's our deck. That's our deck. So, first game, let me just grab some tea. And once again, we're playing warriors. I feel like in the last few drafts that I did, I've been playing warriors like 2 out of 3 times, just because people are undervaluing the archetype. We have a Gobma Feather Vanguard, which is, I don't want to get it killed that early, but I guess that's something that we need to risk. Let me just... Okay, I'm getting flooded deck. Please stop. Please stop. Come off at the Vanguard. And our opponent is doing some landfall stuff. Sure. So this only kills creatures that blocked this turn. This turn I'm looking towards playing Expedition Champion and get my opponent on the back foot. So I'll attack, no need on doing stuff, fancy stuff, I mean. So yeah, Expedition Champion again. As we saw, we want to play or use as much of our mana as possible. Next turn, okay, they're attacking. That's fine. I don't want to trade. I'm winning this race. That's fine. So, now we have a Sizzling Barrage, which we can use to kill their Skyclave Geopede. Or not, because our Gobma Feather Vanguard will make it unblockable, not able to block. This gets +2/+2. Okay, I'll have a creature back. Yeah, still, this is what we need to do. Okay, yeah, because of the converted mana cost. So no, they do nothing. Now we leave 2 blockers behind. This is a 2/2. Okay, now we can do some blocking. If we so wish. And we probably do. This guy has trample. I'm happy on being it for 3, not really happy on being it for 6. I'll kill this creature in a bit. So these guys cannot block this guy. These can make my creatures unblockable. So I'll block like this, so I prevent 3 points of damage. I go to 10, which is still reasonable. And if I don't draw any good spell, I can Sneaking Guide and Kazul's Fury there. Oh, now I cannot. But I can Arc Priest of Yona there, Skyclave GOP. At least that. So I'll attack with all. This with power less than or equal to the number of warriors, so that guy won't be able to block. This guy. I need to... Wait, no. So, okay, to the target. And I want to sacrifice this creature. Okay. Now it's getting... The later the game get, or if we as we get into the later stages of the game, the less likely it is for them to have lands to pump the Brushfire Elemental. Okay. Now they'll probably still have a land, so that's why they played this before combat, before playing the land. Okay. I cannot block the Brushfire Elemental with Sneaking Guide, but they need to be careful. Exactly. So now I'm at 9, 3, with a land 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm at 9, but I'll have... I won't have Shepherd of Heroes, but I have Sizzling Barrage. Gama Feather Vanguard. I cannot make this Spitfire Element like not able to block, but I can kill it. Okay? So let's do the following. Let's attack with these two. This guy is not able to block, because it won't get pumped the next turn. I very much prefer them to block with Brushfire Elemental, my creatures, than anything else. So they need to block something. They need to do something to my creatures. So they do it like this. I target this. If I had... thank you, Gralkan. Hey, how are you, man? How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the journey, man. So now my opponent gets wrecked. Okay, all good on my side of the battlefield. My opponent is not as good, I guess. But still, they're doing stuff. Thank you for joining. It's really cool to see the family gathering. Kazandu Stomper. Okay, that is fine. That doesn't do damage for me, but that has trample. So I'm playing a Zendikar Rising Draft. this is a warriors deck essentially. So yeah, I'm passing my turn. So I have 2 party types. This can do 4 damage. 4 damage still doesn't kill Kazandu Stomper. Let's do some math. And I know math is for blockers, but this time let's just see if we can do something here. So they will need to block Expedition Champion. If they block with Kazandu Stomper, I can kill it with Practice Tactics. If they do that, they are at 4, they would lose 2. I don't want to put my Expedition Champion in front of damage. I can still make this Dauntless Survivor not able to block. So if they block like this, this will be 3 damage. I'm able to finish off Kazandu Stomper. And we're in a good place next turn to do some damage. Right? They will attack with Kazandu Stomper. Okay, so I still want to Sneaking Guide. Let me think for a bit. If I use Sneaking Guide to block Kazandu Stomper and Practice Tactics for the rest of the damage, I can do some stuff. Attacking or blocking creature. Let me just think for a bit. If I attack, so we can make these not able to block. They need to block the Expedition Champion, which enables me to remove this creature. So yeah, let us attack like this. So that guy is not able to block. Now they need to block the Expedition Champion. Oh, I'm still, I think, a bit far away. Even more because of so in terms of average number of viewers, I'm a bit far away, but still the focus is really on improving and on accruing value as we go, like building some interesting resources like that collection of articles, and that's essentially how I plan to accrue value as we go. I'm in no rush. So let's make this unblockable. Now let's see if they don't have anything. Of course they don't. They have all tapped out, so we win. Actually, I was not thinking that clearly in the previous turn, because it was since it was obvious they had to block the other creature, the 4/3 creature. If they didn't have any kind of removal, I would be able to just use both of my creatures and get in the last point of damage. But still, if they had removal and I didn't find a land to play my angel, it could get nasty for me. But still, I'm playing an aggro deck. I need to play like an aggro deck. I'm still a bit with the mindset of playing rogues, like that aggro control. So I'm half aggroing my opponent, half controlling their stuff. Here I need to do aggro. So yeah, let's get on the party. So for everyone else, if you haven't done so and if you like what you're seeing, yeah, feel free to hit that follow button, because I'll be right now I've set up a schedule, and the focus is really to help you grow while you also help me grow. So like a symbiosis on Twitch, as if you wish. This end is cool. I'm likely to draw another land to have my Kargan War Leaders on the battlefield. Still 1-drop, 2-drop. Yes, I like this hand very much. Even if I don't draw a land, I can Sizzling Barrage their early blocker. Okay, Seagate Banneret it is. Seagate Banneret. Wait. Really? Are you threatening to play that stuff, that kind of stuff? No, let's take in 1 damage. No problem. No problem. Okay, I just need 1 land. One land. Come on. So even if they have the +2/+2, which was what they were hinting for in previous turn, I could block with Cliffhaven and do the trade. Okay, now we have 3 mana. If we attack they can trade for 2 of their creatures. The thing is, next turn, I'm able to play Sneaking Guide and Sizzling Barrage, right? So that's cool. In order to kill this, they need to block with 3 creatures, but I just kill 1 of them. So no real reason for that. Since I have a combat trick in the form of removal, I can use it on my next turn to attack. I'm not even worried if they do like attack right now or something like that. They might have some nasty tricks that great. Thank you, Midgeworth. Thank you for the props. So yeah, they might attack. No, they don't attack. So right now we can disrupt them quite well with our Kargan War Leader, with our Sizzling Barrage. So if we attack like this, let's see. They can block the Kargan War Leader and double block the Cliffhaven Sellsword, and I'm just able to rescue 1 of my creatures. I think the play that has more value is not attack with Kargan War Leader, because it's accruing me value for later in the game. And if I attack with Seagate Banneret and Cliffhaven Sellsword, that's still not that good. So I'll attack with Cliffhaven Sellsword and hope for if they block with Kabira's Outrider, maybe I'll even do use the combat trick. Okay, since they didn't do it, I'll just pump all my team. Now I have 4/4s that effectively block their creatures. So it's fine. If I don't remove your creatures, you're not in a very good position either way, opponent. No worries. Do you want to attack? If you attack, you'll be blasted off with my warriors next turn. So next turn, we're not drawing lands to be able to play our Shepherd of Furies, unfortunately. So that's a counter. That's a 5/5. I will take 5 damage. No problem. Okay, now that's a 4/4. And now I have 4 mana. So 4 mana enables me to Expedition Champion and Sneaking Guide. It also enables me, if I play Sizzling Barrage this turn, I can just play Sneaking Guide. That's not a very efficient use of mana, but still it can disrupt their game quite well. So if I attack with both Kargan War Leaders, that's not really valuable for me. If I attack again with Cliffhaven Sellsword, that's cool. And I guess that's the best thing I can do while I build up my board and prepare for a big attack. The thing is, about this turn, I very much prefer to play Expedition Champion and Sneaking Guide and use all my mana. So yes, my opponent agrees. Because I'm building a huge board, and I'll start being able to attack with multiple creatures later. Yeah, this Sneaking Guide won't do much. All my creatures are huge by now. Yeah, I've set up a few sound alerts regarding cats, because Elsa from time to time tries to jump into my stream, so it can be quite interesting. Okay, Pair Tactician. I cannot really do anything with Sneaking Guide. It's just counting towards my party count. So Expedition Champion and Cliffhaven Sellsword are both great attackers. Let's see if we can disrupt their game plan. Okay, just that. Should I trade? Should I not? They have a Kabira Outrider. Can I do stuff? So I have another Cliffhaven Sellsword to play next. So let me just turn off the alarm. So yeah, I'm happy on doing that. Now they're at 5. It's like they're doomed. Unfortunately, I don't have any trample creatures. That would be cool. And I also don't have Shepherd of Heroes mana. I'm always having Shepherd of Heroes on my hand, and I'm playing 18 lands. Come on, I want to play it on curve from time to time. Come on. Oh, so my opponent is going to disrupt my whole game plan now. Oh damn. Or are they just thinking about looking for any way to get? Okay, maybe they don't have a way. Okay, my turn. So now they are on chump blocking duty. I still don't want... So if I attack with all, they have 4 blockers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures. My lowest 2 creatures, if they get through, are this. I don't want to do that. I'm on a winning position. I don't want to risk everything. And I have Shepherd of Heroes mana next. If they don't do something. If they don't do something crazy. So let's see what they do. They might have removal. There's no need to be greedy. As greedy as possible. I guess this is fine. What do you want to do? Okay. I'll do that trade if you want. 2 Kargan War Leaders, it's just crazy. This feels like when I'm playing Merfolk Modern. It's just... it's just crazy. There was once when I played... when I had virtually... Let me just see... Okay, this guy... We can steal Sizzling Barrage in response if they have something to protect their Kabira's Outrider. And I prefer to do it like that. They're just jump blocking this. Okay, and now Sizzling Barrage for the win. This resolves first, unless they have another, of course. This costs 2 mana, they might have another. I don't know. But I'll still try to do it. Okay, sure. Lands. Okay. That will bump their Kabir Outrider. Okay, it makes sense, it makes sense. Nice play. Nice play, opponent. Your creatures are getting big. Nice play. Okay, protection from red. Sure. And now, they add stuff, but they are now top decking mode, and I have a Shepherd of Heroes. Oh, I don't. Come on, I played the Sizzling Barrage, Diog. Come on. Focus, Diog, focus. I got too excited there. I got too excited. I want to have my angel on the battlefield. Yeah. You give protection, but you don't attack. It's just until the end of your turn, so nothing really you can do. Yeah, you're in desperate mode, of course. You don't have anything that you can do, right? No. So I can attack with all. They can still block, like, double block the Kargan War Leader, but if they do something like that and they block like the other one, there's still 3-4 damage going through. I have a flyer. it's very hard to lose from here. And even if they kill one of my Kargan War leaders, that enables me to use the Sneaking Guide on my Seagate Banneret, which I'm not able to because it has 3 power. So they do me a favor by killing one of my creatures. So let's kill first this one, just to make sure. And now next turn, if the Shepherd of Heroes gets killed, I have a Seagate Banneret able to attack. I won 6 lives, so they can attack me again. So redundancy, that's the thing. Okay, no problem there. Okay. So let's do this before combat to see if they give up. 1, 2, 3. No give up. Okay. Let's then make this unblockable. Attack with these 2. So they did me a favor by killing one of my war leaders. Thank you for making my creature smaller, opponent. Thank you very much. Hype indeed. Let's try to go to gold. Unfortunately, it's really a shame that drafts are not. They are much more time. GG, really GG. They're much more time intensive. That's why I've been playing some constructed. Actually, before work, like I wake up quite early. I play a few Magic games before work, and I play constructed because drafts are so much more time intensive. If it was possible to play drafts best of 3 and working towards the ranking, I would just play drafts best of 3. But like this, it's a no-no. Okay, so 2 wins, 0 losses. Let's actually take the opportunity to do a quick break, like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes as much, and that's it. So use the bathroom, eat something, and we'll see each other back in a few minutes. Okay? See ya. So. And welcome back. Before we forget how to play Magic, let's resume. Let's just take a look into the deck. Come on, why is Core Celebrant picked as my deck box? Kargan War Leader is my deck box. Okay. So yeah, this deck still looks good. Just don't know. Let me just double check. What's my land count? I'm playing 18, right? 15 plus 3 MDFCs, so I'm playing 18, yes. Yeah, maybe I was holding MDFCs in hand and complaining. John Cena, Imageworth. By the way, I just saw your message now. So I play in a startup. I play. Yes, I also play, but I work in a startup around blockchain and all of that. So it's already pretty stressful. So standard is no stress for me at all. Like, it's just warm up. I call it warm up. Okay. So without further ado, third game and potentially third win. Yeah, but as we saw previously, we should embrace losing, right? In Magic. No, but really, yes. Sometimes you get unlucky. Others you get lucky. The thing, it's like saying that someone is lucky. The truth is they are in the right place at the right time. Also, they maximize or typically that is, typically they maximize the chances of being successful, of taking advantage of luck or of variability, right? So yeah, I'll keep this. That's the thing that we should look towards. They are lucky. Okay, second turn, I'll just attack and play my land. No real to drop, unfortunately, but we had a 1-drop, 3-drop. That's something. But yeah, it's like what we should strive for is not to get lucky, is to maximize the opportunities of being lucky, right? So for this we need 5 mana. I have 4 mana in hand. I can still play Kazul's Fury next turn because I have a 3-drop. I don't have a 4-drop. So, yep, let's do it. I could attack, then use this mana on to use Sizzling Barrage on their creature, but this is not that great of a creature to use Sizzling Barrage on. Come on, Midgeworth, have you heard about meditation? So out of this hand, I'll probably... So I need to show them 2 cards. We'll choose one of them, so I'll show 2 lands and they can discard whatever. I would play one of these as land either way. I don't really care. So that's a land. Oh, Jesus Christ. So let us attack, see what they do. Play our land. They're probably holding some removal, not sure. Okay, that's really bad. I want to kill that. I want to kill that. This turn, it's a Shepherd of Heroes turn. But still, if they want to trade with the Tended Healer, I'm more than happy. Of course they don't, since we have open mana. So yeah, Shepherd of Heroes it is. We win 6 life. We could play the Sneaking Guide and we would gain 8 life. Jesus. Of course, it would get vanquished. It's really unfortunate. So now we have Practice Tactics, Sizzling Barrage, and Sneaking Guide. Sneaking Guide to play after combat, that is. But yeah, don't throw off your computer now that you have a new setup. It's a waste. Okay. This gives them... Let's kill the Cleric. So if they are playing Clerics and they have the Relic File or whatever the relic it is for Clerics, they might have okay, they might have something like the Shelter. So yeah, I'll let this resolve. And the thing is, okay, so they are not kicking it. +1/+1, so this is a 2/3. It still gets killed, so it's a 1/1. But I don't have good creatures. Oh Jesus, do I Practice Tactics it? It's a 2/1, my Practice Tactics. But the issue now is that I don't have a way to prevent them from to kill a Tended Healer on the swing back. I wanted Practice Tactics to kill their creature, and that's a Seagate Colossus, which I don't like. No blocks, no shump blocking. This can do 4 damage. So if I... The thing is, if I attack with these two guys, he won't block, right? But are they on blocking duty? So if they do that, I can actually pump my whole team once. If they don't block, right? If they do, I can Sizzling Barrage. So I have 5 mana, Seagate Banneret costs 5 mana. So I could play it later, but no need on risking it. It's a 2-for-1 still, so it's not really good for me. Oh no, oh no. This is one of those combos that you don't want to see. Ever, ever, ever. Oh Christ. This creature has the power. So it will be a 3/2. Oh, come on. But he will gain 3 life and put a creature on the battlefield. I need removal for the Gloom Hunter. I need removal. So I used up all my removal in order not to be falling behind, or too behind, since this is a... Oh Jesus, now I'm doomed. Oh Christ. A mountain. Come on, I can't even attack with the Archpriest of Fiona. I don't have full party. I'm missing the creatures that I have the most in my deck. The warriors. So yeah, nothing I can do besides wait. Now they're set up, so I don't expect us to win this game anytime soon. Yeah, they have a good cleric stack. That is fine. They attack in the air. I lose 6. They gain 2, 3, or that, or that. That also works. Royal Eruption. So if I remove Ghastly Gloom Hunter, they have no additional ways for gaining life, at least right now, and they are in top decking mode. Still, I cannot get in with my creatures because it's power 2 or less, which is unfortunate. No, they still have other ways to gain life, which is with the Attendant Healer, give Shepherd of Heroes. That's so bad. Still, I cannot kick the Royal Eruption, so this is the best thing I can do. I could also kill the Attendant Healer, which is the payoff, but if I don't kill the Flyers, I'm dead. I'm really dead, since they already killed my Shepherd of Heroes, so nothing really I can do. So they have a bunch of potential blockers right now. They're at 23, so they might just let through all my attacks. So no reason on attacking. I'm on the defensive, which is not a good sign with a deck like this. It's not a good sign. Not at all. Yeah. Attackers. Yes, you give it lifelink. Sure. Nothing I can do. No lifelink. They have... Are they holding something? Or... What? I'm not sure, but that looked like the punt from our opponent. Not sure. Not sure what they're holding off. Like a Wugin in end? Still, that doesn't justify not spending their mana. They have like a protection spell or something, I believe, yeah. A protection spell that costs them 5, I guess. Something that protects them. Not sure. That's a possibility. Yeah. My turn. Oh, all the lands. All the pretty lands. And these are still Bob Ross lands, so yeah. This seems to support my thesis that when you play with Bob Ross lands, you get flooded more often. And of course, I'm not considering that in my previous games I was complaining about not having enough mana to cast the Shepherd of Yours. Yes, exactly. You can have both pretty lands on the battlefield and be able to curve out and have spells to cast. You can't have both. You need to choose. Life is about choices, right? Okay, yeah. Do your thing, opponent. Look for cards. Okay, two beautiful cards. Which one of those is a land? Not really sure why they didn't give lifelink. Well, either way, I'm just stalling this game, but I guess I'll concede if I draw another Bob Ross land. If I draw a land from a different artist, I might not concede. No, it's a Bob Ross land, so yeah, I'll concede. I've seen plenty. I've seen plenty of those lands. Jesus Christ. Okay. No worries, one loss. We didn't start that well, so something to consider for the future is that we didn't really have a two drop, and our creatures were quite underwhelming. Our angel never attacks. He never attacks. He gains us some life and then it's killed. It's always like that. And I already don't think about attacking with it. So the thing is, now I need to now I need to have other creatures that are good on the battlefield. But yeah, embrace variance. Your losses are an opportunity to learn. So yeah, 2 Royal Eruptions, damn, a 2-drop and a 3-drop. Yes, I'll keep this. And I'll hold the Royal Eruptions as much as possible. These are also sorceries, so Thundering Rebuke is also sorcery. Oh Christ, this is good. This hand is power. That is also good. I don't like to see that on the other side of the battlefield. I really don't. Let's throw our Gamma Feather Vanguard into the battlefield. Royal Eruption on my Gamma Feather Vanguard. Or not. No, they only have islands. Cool. Prison Riptide. Cool. It's power. It cares about power. So I can attack and play my Expedition Champion. Or I can Teeter Peak and Arc Priest. But that doesn't really help me with anything, right? So... Jesus. No reason to do it before attacks, because equal to the number of warriors. So I have 1 warrior, this has 0 power, so I can attack and it will be unblockable. Now I put some more power on the battlefield. So now if they have a burn spell, they might target Gamma Feather Vanguard with it, but I'll have this creature being a 4/3 next turn with my Teeter Peak Ambusher either way, and I can do stuff with Thundering Rebuke. Okay, now I have a warrior. That's a big blocker. I want to get get rid of it as soon as possible. So what I can do this turn is Thundering Rebuke and and Archpriest of Yona, right? I'll attack. They block. Sure thing. Now Thundering Rebuke and Archpriest of Yona. Yes. I just cannot have my opponent with a 0-5 blocker, which might be a 5-5 later as they start being able to kick their spells. Are they playing like blue-black wizards or something? Oh, they're playing Roost of Drakes. Okay, that makes sense. And I don't have a way to kill the Roost of Drakes. So I guess what I need to do is to prevent them from accruing value with it as much as possible. So if I Royal Erupt, I have Practice Tactics up. So I'll probably play Practice Tactics if they block Anteater Peak Ambusher. If not, it's also easy. So if they don't block, which they... Okay, this kind of indicates me that they have other kicker cards in hand. Okay, so since I need all the power that I can, and I'll need to remove these flyers either way. I'll be attacking. I could have played Teeter Peak Ambusher before combat. That would make them try to. That was actually a punt from my side. I could have played this. This would be a 4-3. They would be forced, not really forced, but more inclined at least to block the Expedition Champion, and I wouldn't have to use my my Practice Tactics, or at least I would hit with an additional 4 points of damage, which is also cool. Okay, that's not the kind of creature that I want to see. They are not playing red, it looks like, so they might still have some removal. But I have 2 Royal Eruptions, and I want to have my Cliffhaven Sellsword able to attack next turn. So I want their side of the battlefield as clean as possible. Okay, destroy target creature, nothing I can do. Okay, so this turn I'll have 4 mana, 2 and 2 mana. This costs me 3 to pump. They're in top decking mode and I have removal for their next thing. So this is also a warrior, so it won't pump the Archpriest of Yona. So yeah, let's attack. That's what I have now. And Cliffhaven Sellsword. Okay, now at least I have some power on the battlefield. I'm able to pump the Teeter Peak Ambusher once. So it attacks as a 3-3 now, depending on whether my opponent is drawing stuff or not. So, opponent. What do you want to do, opponent? They're looking at their graveyard. They're playing black, so might it be the Thwart the Grave or something? I guess it's still too expensive. Yeah, sure. Okay, more removal. So I'll attack with both. I'll pump this creature, and that's my turn. Jesus, this is really an uphill battle, and I need to be as efficient as possible in killing them. So if I get them within Royal Eruption range, this costs me 5 to kick. I won't likely reach that stage, but still. If I attack like this it's for 4. This gets them at to 3. 3? Really? Okay, I'll attack. If they take it, which they might, there's no reason for me to pump my creatures right now. So I'll end my turn. Yes, no need on rushing. Again, this is something that Ben Stark, for example, is constantly saying. There's no need to win early. I very much prefer that my opponent now uses removal on both of my creatures or taps all of their mana, and on next turn I have two ways of winning the game: attacking with my creatures, which can be disrupted, and casting my Royal Eruption, okay? Which is in my hand. So yes, I'll attack with both, and unless they have something, I can kill them on second main phase. Okay, so no need on casting Royal Eruption at all, and I've won the game either way. Okay, so yeah, it feels good when when this kind of heuristics work out, right? Oh, it really works. It's not only gibberish that people throw around. No, it really works. Okay, 3-1. We're doing good. It's really funny because this Zendikar Rising format is kind of grindy. The games go long and all of that, but this makes people lower their expectations from warriors. Okay, from more aggressive strategies. What happens is you get all the warriors that you want, right? This is a pretty nice warriors deck, and we didn't do the most crazy stuff with it yet. Of course, we played two of the two warrior lords at the same time, and that was crazy for sure. But we haven't attacked with our shepherd, for example, and yeah, even. We have two Royal Eruptions, so we have a ton of removal. Yeah, we're in good shape. Okay, 2-drop, 3-drop, removal, lands. So yes, I'll keep this. Since I want to eat the third land drop for sure, and I won't have an opportunity next 2 turns to do it without compromising me carving out with creatures. I'll play this as a land on the first turn, and this is not one of the best MDFCs. I would need to hold it for much later, which is not something that I'm happy to do. So much more advantage on playing the Cliffhaven Sellsword. This guy might get really good if I manage to have a few more party types on the battlefield. So I'm more likely not to trade other party types. Okay, so that's a Kargan War Leader. That makes me not want to attack right now. I could Royal Erupt, but that would make me not able to play a creature, right? So no real decisions here. I'll play Expedition Champion. That way, let me just think. No attacks. Why? Because all my creatures will be more valuable once I have Kargan War Leader on the battlefield, and I don't want to trade them. Okay. For example, this guy has now lifelink, which is fine for sure, but if I attack with this Expedition Champion with this, they aren't able to profitably block it. So yes, I'll play Kargan War Leader, attack with Expedition Champion. And play my... Oh, of course, I only have 1 white mana. Okay, that's fine. Next turn I can Royal Erupt one of their creatures and Archpriest of Yona. Unkicked, that's fine. Okay, so let's Royal Erupt their Geyser Mage. Just the Expedition Champion. One, two, three, four, five. So we need 7 mana to be able to kick Royal Eruption to their face. Okay. You're doing some party stuff, I see, opponent. So that's our 6th source of mana. So if I attack, they still need to double block my Expedition Champion to be able to kill it. And they need to double block. They can double block with these 2 guys. If they block like that, I just kill one of them. I'm not really happy about that. But other than that, I cannot really attack. Oh, this is a hard decision. Should I hold the Royal Eruption in hand? But the thing is, if I'm not able to put them into range for a kick the Royal Eruption, there's no need for holding it, right? No need on attacking with this. No need on attacking with this because they can double block and I get screwed. But if I attack with Cliffhaven Sellsword and Kargan War Leader, that can be quite good. No, let's just play it slowly. Now they're at 7. I can do that kind of crazier stuff closer to their hand, I guess. Now the issue is that I'm on top decking mode and they have stuff. Okay, if I attack with Expedition Champion, now they can essentially block this guy. I can kill 2 of their creatures. Or they can just Seagate Colossus and I'll kill it. Let's remove stuff from their side of the battlefield. The thing is, they look to be trying to do they are trying to do some party shenanigans on their side of the battlefield. Are they splashing for Kargan War Leader? It's a bit crazy. Sure, that's a trade I'm... So by now, I don't expect them to have that much removal. But I might be wrong. Okay, that's a nice card. An Ardent Electromancer that I cannot use to do more stuff. So no incentive on attacking with multiple creatures. The Cliffhaven Sellsword will just be eaten up by... They can even block with these 2 guys and only lose 1. So no profitable attacks. Let's just attack with this. No profitable attacks with my warriors, that is. And Ardent Electromancer, 3 mana that I cannot use. Sheep the turn. Okay, draw me a card, opponent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, that's something that gains you some life. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Still no profitable attack, so this Shepherd of yours is doing some work in the air. And now I can just cast my 2 additional warriors, which will be huge. Let's see if I can win with Shepherd. Oh, I cannot because they are targeting removal with it. No, maybe not. Will you attack? Because of lifelink? Is that it? I can kill it. For sure. Let me see if I... With which creatures do I want to kill it? So 4, 5... 4... Okay, so Archpriest of Fiona is 1. Actually not Archpriest, but Ardent Electromancer. No. If I block with this, I lose my creature. They are able to pump, but that is fine. I only lose 1. They gain some life for sure, but I killed one of their most threatening creatures. Oh, nice. Unfortunately, I don't have enough white mana to also use this ability this turn. This cost me 5, 3, 4, 5, so I can use it once per turn, starting next turn. So I can Shepherd of Heroes attack. No other profitable attacks, right? They can block with 2 creatures quite easily. So yeah, let's just go to their face and play our Seagate Banneret and hope to be able to pop my Shepherd of Heroes 2 additional turns for the win. No need, no need. Yes. Oh damn. If they had a removal for my creature, I would be gold digging my deck. Gold tier 4. Welcome again. Welcome again. Cool, cool, cool. So we're doing it. I'm having more successes with warriors than any other archetype recently. Just because, and this just goes to the this is very interesting to think about. So this just showcases how important it is, or how awesome it is that drafts are a format that can auto adjust themselves, right? If people are not valuing that much aggro strategies, well, guess what? You get good aggro strategy cards, and you win with it. I'm not throwing fireworks before the party here, but well, it's doing some stuff, the deck, and I'm not really. Probably I'm doing some mistakes in between, but still the deck is behaving quite well. That's why drafts are awesome. It's a self-regulating format, typically. Okay. Turn 2, turn 3. We have 3 mana. No need. Keep 7. It is, but I don't want to ruin my my luck. Thank you. You're too kind, Midgeworth. You're too kind. Okay, Merfolk Wind Robber. So, are we playing against the sneaky rogues today? No turn 1 play, so let's play a mountain. Whatever. It's all the same. I don't want to practice tactics that. And I couldn't even because I don't have creatures on my battlefield. That is an interesting target for practice tactics, to be honest. Twice the number of creatures in your party. Number of creatures. Mind Carver. Damn. On the flyer. No blocks. No blocks. No blocks for now. So, next turn. Unfortunately, I don't have a turn. A creature that enables me to double spell with practice tactics this turn. That's very unfortunate. Still, I can work on setting up. They'll still hit me for 6 next turn. I go to 9, which is not a place that I want to be in, right? Expedition Champion can be traded for one of their creatures. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Will I go to 9? If I go to 9, I can have a great next turn. Okay, let us attack. If they want to block I can practice tactics it.
Acho que está ali 9 minutos.
And at least I get rid of one of them. Okay, more lands. They're at 20, I'm at 11, they lead me for 4. I'll be at 7. 7, 7, 7. That's not really where I want to be. Will I need to trade something for the Expedition Skulker? I might. My Expedition Champion might need to trade, unfortunately. Or my Goma Feather Vanguard. Yeah, no need.
Exactly.
Playing Expedition Champion might even disincentivize them from attacking, I guess. Oh, that requires 2 mana. Screw you, opponent. Okay, I jinxed it. I officially announced that I jinxed it. Now I have 5 mana. 5 mana does not enable me to double spell.
Vamos lá por dar. Pessoal, desmaiou, curou. Tony, estás bem?
Come on, now I have 2 mana. Up. No need on using Goma Feather Vanguard. I have 3, 4, 5, 6 cards on the battlefield, on my graveyard. Let us attack. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Let us attack. I'm not sure if I should have attacked because I could have used my Goma Feather Vanguard to block my their Expedition Healer and save the Expedition Champion to attack with my Kargan War Leader. But yeah, that also works, opponent. Yeah, I'll trade. I'll trade for sure. I need to trade. Otherwise, I go to 3, and 3 is too little. Having a flyer attacking me every single turn. And of course, now they filled up my graveyard.
Combinado. É tanta coisa. Agora vais ficar mais sozinho.
Oh, Jesus.
Mas qualquer
If I
coisa.
attack them for 4, that does me no good. So I can... What I can do is something like this. And hope I survive.
Vais passar o ano a dormir, Marta.
3 for 5, 3 for 5. I have 1 mana left, not able to pump my creature. I go to 1. So, if we Sungmed Treachery, their creature, we attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not enough. If we pump this guy twice, we attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we still attack for 9. It will still untap on their turn, so nothing I can do. Right? It's all the same. Okay, so we lost this one. I jinxed it, so yeah, expected. And that's it, folks. On to the next game. Yeah, no worries, man. Nothing I can do. Their flyer killed me. Their 1/1 flyer. Okay, so a point for my future self. Yeah, Angry Cat for sure. A point for my future self is if they have an evasion creature and you don't have good ways to deal with that, deal with it as soon as possible. Do not delay it. Okay. Yeah, I might have punted that game because of that. Because I could have taken care of one of their land creatures, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Take care of their flyers, their evasive creatures. So now turn 1, turn 2, potentially turn 3. I'll keep this. This is a 1/2, which will attack for 2 on my second turn. It's quite good. It feels good, I would say. Oh, nice. Oh, it feels so good when you curve out. It feels so good when you start turn 1 creature, turn 2 creature, turn 3 creature, and they all get better with each other. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, and they also have a Gamma Feather Vanguard, which unfortunately won't do much. Because so if I do this, I'll hit them for an additional 3 damage. If I play this before and then attack with having my Kargan War Leader next turn, I can do some stuff. I could also remove their creature. This is a very good warrior, but it's not a very efficient use of my mana, but they are curving out, so this might not be the best creature they have. Given all of that, and given that they have no way to kill my Kargan War Leader, I'll push for a bit more damage this turn. I'll be the aggressor. If they want to trade with my Archpriest of Yona, I'm happy for that. Oh, of course, they cannot block with Gamma Feather Vanguard because of my own Gamma Feather Vanguard. I was forgetting about that teeny tiny aspect. My Kargan War Leader also counts as a warrior, of course. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. You still won't be able to block with it, because I'll play this. Oh, Gamma Feather Vanguard is so good. Even more when you're on the play. Jesus. Oh, and I can kill their creatures whenever I want. Oh. So good. So good. Okay, come on. Oh, you want to take a spell off my hand? I'm nowhere near playing the Shepherd of Heroes. Submit 1, submit 2. I need to submit 2. So it's only when it attacks that I can make one of their creatures unblockable. So if I attack with this, they can trade for 2 of their creatures. I can still make their Gamma Feather Vanguard not able to block. So if I make these unable to block and I kill this guy, I can do some stuff, and then I'll have Shepherd of Heroes at some point. If they want to use removal on my creatures, that's fine, because I'll use Shepherd of Heroes to win later. So I'll use this before combat on the Stonework Pack Beast. Or actually Gamma Feather Vanguard, that's their best creature. They're doing some red, black. They don't have that many warriors. Stonework Pack Beast, I guess it counts as a warrior. So, all attack. This guy doesn't block today. And you need to chump, most likely. No? Okay, you go to 1. That is fine, opponent. You understand that I have more creatures than you do, right? And, like, you need to play 2 creatures to be able to do something. 2 creatures, opponent. Do you have them? You don't have them. Good game, man. Okay, so I have two. I need to make this guy not able to block. Sure. Okay. This was a teeny tiny risky, but I had to press my advantage before they recovered. And they didn't have that much mana. Of course, I could be disrupted by a removal spell, and probably I should have considered that. But come on. You know how it rolls. Sometimes you just need to trust your instinct. And since they said good game, well, there's a ton of people that could have said good game and then like screw over my whole plan. That could happen, but I had a Shepherd of Heroes, I had a high life total, I had another creature to put on the board that I could pump before I had stuff, so it would be hard for them to, even if they didn't die that turn, they probably would have to remove the creatures that they don't block, and both would be trades because their higher toughness blocker was a 3/2, I believe. So both of my creatures had power 2. Again, both would be trades. I would have a good late game, so no reason to rush things up. So we have a white land to play on my first turn. We have a 2-drop, 3-drop. Yes, I'll keep. And I'll probably edge on the possibility of playing... Oh, come on. I'll edge on the possibility of playing what? Of attacking with Cliffhaven Sellsword on turn 3 with Kargan War Leader up. So, yes, land for the turn. That changes things up a bit. Cool. Now we have a turn 3 play that we can follow up with a Teeter Peak Ambusher or something. That's cool. So... white... Let's actually play the Teeter Peak Ambusher before the Cliffhaven Sellsword. The thing is, I'll be able to play this from the Ardent Electromancer. Maybe I should have played the other way around, because on turn 3 I might be able to attack into them. Either way, this has 1 power and 3 toughness, so it's a good blocker before I am all set up on turn 4. Oh, that's not a great magic card, opponent. Okay, so now what we can do is Ardent Electromancer, 2 mana hub, Cliffhaven Sellsword. So I should... Oh damn, I shouldn't have played like this. Now I cannot really take advantage of the extra mana. Oh damn, because I'll spend all my 3 mana with this and I'll have 2 red mana up. I cannot do anything with 2 red mana up. I should have played the Cliffhaven Sellsword. Trust your instincts, yo. So, saying all of that, since I cannot take advantage of Ardent Electromancer this turn, let's just attack their face with 2 points of damage. So they're playing Clerics, maybe a bad version of Clerics, or at least they were short of playables, I guess. Because that's not a great magic card. Okay, opponent, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about sacrificing this early? Please do. Please do that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you do that, you'll draw a card, so you'll need to cast something with 1 mana, or discard a card, or you just play one of those. Okay. So that doesn't look... that's not doing that much. But still it has double strike, which kind of ruins my plans with Cliffhaven and Sellsword. So this turn, I can... If I Ardent Electromancer, now I'll be able to Cliffhaven and Sellsword. So let's attack with both. They have 1 mana up, so they might play Subtle Strike, I believe it's 2 mana. So, yeah, Ardent Electromancer, Cliffhaven, Sellsword, and depending on what they do next turn, I might kill this guy in order to be able to also attack with my Sellsword, which can be huge. If they don't commit stuff to the board right now, they're in pretty bad shape. So for example, if they use this ability right now, yeah, I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic! Okay. And we're on our way to 7 wins. We have 5 under our belt. This game is going well for us, at least until now. Okay, that's a card that I want to kill. Since they don't have anything on the graveyard, that's... Ay, opponent. Oh, Jesus. They can't even get an additional cleric from the graveyard. Do they scoop now? Jesus, I'm sorry, opponent. Oh, I should have played up lane so that I could pump my Tether Picam. Sure. Either way, now I can pump my Archpriest of Fiona and prepare an Alpha Strike next turn. That also works. No need on playing the land now. So if I draw an additional, even if I've drawn an additional land next turn, Leroy Jenkins for sure. We're all Leroy Jenkins this game. I would have, so if I've drawn an additional mana, I could pump this twice actually. So it might have been worth to play the plains. Again, the important thing about punts is recognizing them and understand that how you can improve. Because I have 4 mana with this 5 with an additional 1/6. This would be an additional 4 points of damage from this creature, which would be huge and I believe game winning. So, okay, this was also game winning, but I certainly did not maximize my chances of winning. Okay. Next game, and I believe last one, right? Next one. Let me just check something. If I have Streamlabs, Cardboard Live. I was saying, okay, Cardboard Live is going. Leroy Jenkins. Okay. Last game. Either way, this is last game. Let's see. My last 7x draft was also with Warriors. So, and actually, aggro might be the type of deck that I least enjoy playing, but it's still so. I like all kinds of decks, to be honest. That's why I love drafting. I get to experience several kinds of decks, and I'm never sure of what kind of strategy I'll be employing today. It's all fine and good. Saying that, this hand enables me to not do much, to be honest. But we have 18 lands. We cannot mulligan this in any way possible. Okay, now everything is fine now. See? So Seagate Banneret can be more useful. Sneaking Guide actually can be more useful the later we go in the game. So I'll play our Seagate Banneret. I know it can pump all my creatures and all of that, but if I find myself in a clogged board state, the Sneaking Guide can be the one unclogging that board, or at least enable me or setting up an highway to my opponent's face. I'll attack for sure, because I don't like that creature. On my opponent's side of the board, that is. Okay. I still don't have any way to take advantage of these creatures. This Ardent Electromancer, I'm not in a position that I can take advantage of it. Now I am, because I can Royal Erupt their Fearless Fledgling. And they're missing land drops, so this game will be bunkers if I disrupt them this early. Right? Okay, so the plan is Ardent Electromancer, Royal Disrupt this guy, if they don't block, that is. So first I'll attack. They won't block, it's just 2 points of damage, they think. So what I'll do is this. I have two mana up. They're missing land drops. That was the only card that they played. Probably the only two drop that they had. So right now we're in easy mode. I'm not even sure if I want to play the Sneaking Guide to have an additional 2 points of damage, or if I want to start pumping my Teeter-Peak Ambusher. Yeah, I'll probably do that because I might be able to double spell or something next turns. So I'll attack. 3 attackers. I pump this guy. And that's it. Core Celebrant. Okay. That's something I can kill very easily. Now this unlocks me Kabira's Outrider. If I put that into my Ardent Electromancer, that's really cool, and I'm committing to the board. If they want to block it, be my guest. So this will give me +2/+2. Yeah, +2/+2 looks fine. If they want to block one of the other creatures, that's fine. This guy doesn't have lifelink, so I'm happy on having them take 6 and be close to that. So they're still trying to draw additional lands. They are mana screwed. It just happens, right? Variance. Magic's is a high variance game, so I guess it happens. Scale the heights, sure. I can kill that. Okay. Now they're at 7. If I attack with Hall, they can kill this guy and this guy. Leaving 3 points and potentially an additional 3 points of damage. Not really sure if they want to do that. Either way, no need on risking it, right? I can just do this. Look, they might actually block this guy or something. I can Sizzling Barrage. So, since they're blocking this guy, I don't need to pump my creature. Okay? Okay, so that guy goes down. And now I can play my Sneaking Guide. And I still have a finisher. So if they have removal, they need to use it. Either way, they're more likely than not dead. And I have Shepherd of Heroes to finish them, if needed. Can make one of my creatures unblockable, like the Teeter-Peak, and I have 5 mana, so not 6 mana. But yeah, I can still pump it once. Okay, that's a 3/4. I guess that's game, right? Good game, man. Let's just go for the win. That pumps half of my team. And that's a 7-2 for you. Today we did it. This is a trophy deck, and we got into gold tier 3. Cool. Cool. Okay. So, yeah, 7 wins today. I'm really happy for what we managed to achieve. This was a very interesting run. And I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. So we managed to navigate the draft quite well, I believe. We'll take a look into that in a second. Thank you, Midgeworth. Thank you. 6 packs, 2,200 gems. Oh, thank you, Arena. I'm glad you do. That's really my goal. So I try to learn a lot outside the stream, so that I try to employ as much as possible over stream. Of course, I'll do a lot of mistakes, as you already noticed, but it's slowly building on top of it. If you ever played like an instrument or doing sports or something like that, you probably have felt it. For example, when I was playing piano, on one day the sequence was really hard, but I practiced it like for half an hour, and I already knew, because it happened so many times, that next day I would have that part of the piece memorized. It would come out automatically. Most of the learning happens when you sleep. That's something that that is very useful to keep in mind. That's why, practicing a bit of magic every day, or at least be in contact with it. And when I say magic, whatever skill you're trying to learn, if you are in contact with it at least for a bit every day, it can really maximize your chances and maximize the growth potential that you have on that art. Oh, nice, a Phylath. Cool. Yeah, typically after the draft I just open the packs in front of the stream, just because. Soul Shatter, okay, not that bad. Yeah, I am for a bit, I guess. It's 7 o'clock, yeah. So we'll just spend like 10 to 15 minutes looking into the draft log, and then I'm free, yes. As you might know, I'll probably just jump into the stream of someone else on the Discord channel. But if you have any other suggestion, please be my guest. Oh, cool. But what are you suggesting? Me to play it? Because I don't have that many. Well, I have some wildcards, but not that many. As you see, rares. The rares are really bad. Oh, GeForce, come on. You only arrived now? Oh, Jesus. Okay, for sure. Let's join. I'm not that good in building constructed decks, but I can try to chime in. At least I might learn something. Cool, GeForce. But you know what? You missed a 7x draft. This was a trophy deck. I'll show you in a bit. Okay, that's a mythic wild card. I would very much prefer a rare wild card. Those are the the rarest ones. Oh yeah. Let's do that. Let's think a bit. For sure, Mitch. Okay. I'll show you in a bit. You'll still take a look into our draft log. Zareth San. I guess I don't have that many of these. Oh, this doesn't work here. Okay, no worries. Zareth San, it is. It's fine. I'm happy on having all of those because I want to play rogues. Crawling Barrens. This is a card that might see some play. Cool. So let's just see if there's some stonks in the store and get back to the draft log. Mastery Pass, sure. Not really. If I eat the blue golem, which I probably won't, I might still invest in that inscription. Umara Wizard, no real decision. Inscription, Black Bloom. Just trying to see if there's cards here that I might play. Emeria Skull, it's a card that I might play, but I'm more likely than not to play this. But for sure, yeah, let's sync up. Cool. So that's the arena for today. Let's look into the deck and the draft log. So, just give me 1 second. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Do that, please. Full screen desktop. And let's see if 17 lands capture this beauty of a deck. Oh, here it is. So as you can see, my only other, at least since I started using 17 lands, my only other draft that I made a trophy, that I had a trophy deck, was also a Warriors deck, funnily enough. So let's look into the deck that we played today and look into the draft logs in a second. Okay, so this is a down-to-earth deck. It's a Warriors deck, but it had a bunch of removal in the form of Practice Tactics, the Royal Eruptions, 2 of those, Sizzling Barrages, 2 of those, a Thundering Rebuke, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. I never used this as removal. These actually, the MDFCs were never played as spells, actually. So yeah, either way, double Kargan War Leader was bunkers. The Goma Feather Vanguard does a lot of work in these kind of decks. I never played, I believe, a Warriors deck that was highly reliant on equipments, because they don't seem to be that good. The equipments, it's hard to find the ones that are worth it, to be honest. So yeah, this was a bit our deck. 3 MDFCs. In our top end we had Kabir Outrider and Shepherd of Heroes, because we were liking additional two drops and high quality creatures. Ardent Electromancer didn't do much this time around, but actually in our previous stream it did. So just let's look at the draft. Draft. Okay, it looks like there's still the issue with pack 1, pick 1. That's a bummer. But so we picked the Core Celebrant, as you could see, and we were at from what I recall, there were other interesting. The rare was a double land card, so not that interesting. But there were some specific cards like the Rogue that can be made unblockable and draws a card when you attack. But still, why I picked Core Celebrant? It was the most versatile card out of that pack. The uncommons were not that good. And I definitely believe it made sense. It worked. It did not make our end deck because we were focusing on being aggressive and we didn't care that much about our life total. So yeah, Core Celebrant it was. Archpriest of Fiona, this could work well also in a variety of decks, being a low powered creature, but it's not that good. So there's definitely an argument towards picking Black Bloom Rogue. Probably it's even the best card from this pack. Archpriest of Fiona can do some work if I do party. Still, something that I discussed before starting was the possibility of playing a blue-white party deck, which is something that is also undervalued. That Warriors are two archetypes that are undervalued. I'm having even troubles getting into Rogues, getting into Clerics. Everyone knows about those, so I try to capitalize on the other kind of decks. So yeah, pack 2, pack 3, Malakir Blood Priest, again looking towards something that could be fit into many decks. Actually, out of these 3 picks, only the Archpriest of Fiona fitted our deck. This Relic Axe could do some work, but I believe both of these wield, which is crazy. So let me pack 1. See, both of the uncommons wield, so no one cares about. This is relatively good in any red deck, because if you have 1 or 2 Royal Eruptions, you can use the Azul's Fury to finish off your opponent. That's why I picked it over the axe. So yeah, and still MDFCs. while you should not prioritize them over, at least that's my belief. You should not prioritize these MDFCs over other cards that work well towards some strategies, and you should try to carve your lane early on pack 1, because if you find signals in the middle of pack 1, you want signals towards one archetype, you will find your opponents to your left will also have received signals concordant to what you received from your left, from your right. And the truth is, the tribal decks are bunkers. It's very, very good. So if you're able to start with a good tribal strategy card like Soaring Thought Thief or something like that, you probably should lean towards rogues, because if they are minimally open, it opens up the chance of you receiving good rogues on pack 2. Okay? And because on pack 2 you'll be prioritizing those highly, your opponents to your right will receive very few of those. Okay? So again, it's all about payoffs and rewards, right? You should try to actually the cost. It's all about opportunity cost. Sorry, I'm just modifying a bit this whole thing. So yeah, it's all about opportunity cost. Let me just check GeForce. One more artifact. Damn, when you play competitively and your opponent screw you up because they have a meme deck or something like that, right? Yeah, that's a feeling. Okay, so that was pack 1. I believe there's not much noteworthy. We're edging a bit. This card is bunkers if you manage to play on Wizards. So the thing a bit about, and I know I'm digressing a lot, but it's these are all valuable information, I believe. So the Wizards deck has a particularity, which is it has a lot of enablers, like a lot. Almost all your deck is full of enablers, because typically you play, you have very few enchantments or something like that. So all your Wizards instants and sorceries trigger these payoffs. Okay, so this Rock Slide Sorcerer can be like a machine gun. It's just crazy. It can completely wipe out your side of the board if you're not careful, even more because there's so many creatures, low toughness creatures, even 1 toughness creatures running around. So it's just crazy, this card. I had to pick it and edge on the possibility of ending up in Wizards, but I didn't saw that much blue afterwards. Again, Blood Priest, Malakir Blood Priest. I still didn't know where I would land. I might still land in a black-red deck or something like that. I don't know. This Expedition Champion, of course, it would be useful, but whatever. Lul Mage's Domination, a very late Lul Mage's Domination. This is a very good card. And people are scared about the 3 mana cost, the 3 blue in its mana cost. But it's just you reach a stage in the game where even if you pay 5 for this, and if you're able to recur this from the graveyard, it's just crazy. Okay, Kargan War Leader. This is where I started edging on warriors. Okay, of course this is full of warrior potential, and I still think I picked one of these on the wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no, this was the last pack. This didn't come through the wheel, I guess. But yeah. And this was pack 1 for us. Pack 2. So by now, as you can see, possible main deck, we were already edging on playing a Wizards, a Warriors deck. Royal Eruption, we wouldn't let that go through. Again, we weren't seeing that much white. That's something to keep in mind. So blue-red would still be possible, but Khazar Royal Shazer is not really a reason for you to switch to Wizards. This is low-powered rare. It has flying, it has ace, but it doesn't get better. It doesn't pump itself as you play instants or sorceries. It just lowers the cost of your instants and sorceries, so it's a cool enabler to have, but not a reason to go to that deck. And we saw Little Blue. The thing that we picked was only Little Mage's Domination. So Royal Eruption always makes your deck, so that's the pick. Another Kargan War Leader. Now I was getting ecstatic about playing Warriors because two of them is always better than one. Another red card. So red was clearly underdrafted, and the gist of our pack 2 was we got paid off, essentially. Oh, by the way, sorry, you're seeing all this crazy stuff, so let me take them out of the screen. So yeah, Royal Eruption and all of that. Gamma Feather Vanguard. So you see, like these were like 4 picks that were all great, all very, very good. Royal Eruption, Kargan War Leader, Royal Eruption, Gamma Feather Vanguard. So if this doesn't look like signals for you to jump board into Warriors, I don't know what is. As of course they're coming from our left, so this take all of this with a grain of salt, and we are taking because we have the information that came from our right. We were reading the signals from our first pack, and we picked a late Kargan War Leader. We were picking a bunch of red, and we picked some nice stuff for our deck. So yeah, and then after this, our deck just built itself, quite honest. Our pack 2, we were just filling out some holes on our plan, and on pack 3, we were essentially looking towards playing 2 mana drops. Weird. Okay, there it is. Oh Jesus, this doesn't look. Okay. Oh, there's a bug on 17 lands. Synchronized Spellcraft was not displaying correctly. Probably it was just loading. Thundering Rebuke, more removal, right? Shepherd of Heroes as our top end card. Here, of course, this Thundering Spark Mage is really tempting on a deck like this, but we were in dire need for 2 drops. Sizzling Barrage, yeah, and then just all the same thing. Just 2 drop, 3 drop that we weren't about to play. Yeah, so that's about it. So yeah, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. So if you didn't do that already and you liked what you saw, and if you feel like you learned something, feel free to hit that follow button for you so that you actually join me in this journey and we learn together, right? That's my whole goal with doing these streams, is for me to learn, keep myself in check, so that I don't want to be embarrassed when playing in front of other people, right? I don't want to make as many mistakes, and actually it also puts some pressure on me, but it also opens up the possibility of discussing the game with more people and actually providing some resources to other people. Like today we reviewed an article over the beginning of the stream. Yeah, so either way, if you want to keep in touch, besides Twitch, I'm on Twitter and Instagram, so feel free to join me there if you want. And yeah, and I also post the stream recordings on YouTube, so if you want to see, for example, how did we reach these 7 wins today, yeah, you can find all the recordings there. These ones should go up like in at most 1 week. I take at most 1 week to put them on in there. You too, GeForce, have a good night, and all of you have a good night, well, good night or good evening, or good evening actually, or good afternoon, depending on what time zone you are in. So yeah, Midgeworth, that's part of learning. I also embarrass myself a lot. there are some streams that I watch it and it hurts my soul. It hurts my soul to watch myself doing those mistakes. Okay. Either way, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time around. Okay? Bye bye.